The smoking gun just got dropped, and Hillary's fingerprints are all over it. New emails between George Soros' right-hand man and a Clinton campaign advisor spell out their conspiracy in black and white. Now, this wasn't opposition research or dirty politics. This was a coordinated attack on our republic, and it makes Watergate look like jaywalking. They had a plan. They had the media, they had the intel agencies, and they thought they'd never get caught. But now the receipts are here, and Stephen Miller's calling it exactly what it was, a coup. The Pulitzer Prize Committee gave awards for lies while the real criminals walked free. Until now. Stay tuned. Now, if you're getting close to retirement or just thinking ahead, you've probably done a solid job of saving. But here's something most people don't consider. How much of that money is just sitting in cash? You might feel safe, but holding too much cash guarantees only one thing. You're losing purchasing power. Inflation eats away at it, and the dollar's value keeps slipping. That's why more people are looking at real assets like physical gold and silver to protect their savings. Noble Gold Investments, my friends over there, they make it easy. Visit nextnewsgold.com, and when you own real assets, you have real wealth. That number on the screen, 877-646-5347. When you give them a call, tell them Gary Franchi said hello. Okay, so we're going to jump right into this because I know you want to know the latest. We're finding out that the CIA director, just a few hours ago, says that he and Kash Patel will be declassifying even more documents. And this is only the tip of the iceberg, what we've seen. A, the links that the FBI went to amplify the Steele dossier. B, how they buried the counterintelligence referral memo. And we've got his actual remarks on Fox. Listen.
Is there more to come from either you or FBI Director Patel? Are there more shoes to drop that we should be looking for?
Yeah, there are, Trey. So, people need to understand that, there is no Russia collusion hoax file cabinet at the FBI or at the CIA. We have to look for these documents, sometimes that are well hidden. You have to go trace through emails and look for signs and clues that would point you to. That's how I found John Brennan's notes, and that's how we found additional documents. I've talked with FBI Director Patel. He and I will be declassifying additional documents that show just how sinister the FBI was in amplifying Hillary Clinton's Steele dossier as real and credible to be included in the intelligence community assessment, but also in how they buried the counterintelligence referral memo that I mentioned before, how they went to great lengths to try and keep that out of the intelligence community assessment. So there will be more to come, and I think that people should expect that the Trump administration will continue to shed transparency and light and truth, again, because, Trey, there is no question, this was the greatest political scandal of our lifetime. No one wants to see this happen again. It derailed our country. It derailed President Trump's presidency, his first 4 years in office, and it really is a stain on our country that should never happen again, and Donald Trump is committed to making sure that it doesn't.
Okay, so I'm going to just say this. Listen, I'm ecstatic that all this is coming to light. I'm ecstatic that they're sharing truth and light and transparency. But what I want to see is perp walks, okay? I want to see these people in orange jumpsuits. I want to see mug shots, okay, on the front page of newspapers nationwide, okay? I want to trade in my coffee mug here with Donald Trump's mug shot to the one that has Hillary Clinton's mug shot on it. Can we do that? Mr. President, Kash, this is what people want to see, okay? We saw too much of this. It's time to see more of that, all right? So we got more from Stephen Miller. I want to bring up a clip here that was just brought to my attention. Stephen Miller, one of my favorite members of the administration. Here's Stephen Miller talking about the Russia collusion hoax. And this is just about 24 hours ago.
It was the Russia collusion hoax against President Trump remains the single greatest hoax and the greatest assault on our democracy in the history of this country. There's no comparison. There's no parallel to anything else. It was a coup. And I'm using that term literally. It was a coup to overthrow a democratically elected government, a coup carried out by the intelligence apparatus of this country, by the deep state, by Hillary Clinton and the Democrat Party. The new information that has been revealed by the Director of National Intelligence and by the FBI eliminates any scintilla of doubt about the intention, the premeditation, the planning and orchestration of this conspiracy. It meets all of the criminal elements of a seditious conspiracy against the United States. It meets the criminal elements of an insurrection. It meets the criminal elements of a conspiracy against the government and the criminal elements of a conspiracy to deprive citizens of their civil rights under color of law. One egregious felony after another. And because it is a conspiracy, as demonstrated by the forethought of realizing and documenting that they understood that this was fake from the beginning, meeting the mens rea standard in law. Because of that, because it is a conspiracy, every single individual actor is now part of that conspiracy. So that includes Brennan and Clapper and Comey and Hillary and Schiff and everybody else who knowingly and willfully perpetrated this plot, this coup, this conspiracy, this scheme against President Trump and the government of the United States. And now is the time and the hour and the moment for accountability so that we can reclaim this democracy, Maria.
Now, the only name that he brought up there that had a preemptive pardon was Adam Schiff. None of those other folks, as far as I'm aware, don't have preemptive pardons that came out at the end of the Biden presidency. Another point I want to make is that we've heard Obama, right? Obama's made a statement calling this, I'm not going to sink to the level of responding, but then he responds, calling it just malicious disinformation. We've heard from Brennan because, of course, Brennan is a contributor to MSNBC, and, he's already talked about lawyering up. We've heard from Clapper. Clapper's already said he's lawyering up, but we still haven't heard any, as far as I haven't seen anything from Hillary or Comey officially, or Schiff has already made his statements, but he does have that preemptive pardon. But of course, that pardon could possibly be challenged if he faces an indictment through this. He could throw that pardon up and say, "Well, I'm pardoned," but then we'll say, "Well, President Autopen went ahead and signed this, so it's null and void." Right. So there's a lot of things, a lot of dynamics at play here. But Stephen Miller hitting the nail right on the head. Also, we have this from Jonathan Turley. This just came out 2 hours ago, talking about the Russiagate grand jury. Now, listen very, very carefully.
To the media, this is the first necessary step to finding out about the real Russian conspiracy. There never was a Russian collusion conspiracy. That was hatched by the Clinton campaign. They secretly funded the Steele dossier. They denied that to the media. And they laid out this very successful political hit job using the media, using the government. It's amazing how much the public still doesn't know. But in the last few weeks...
Well, I want to say, he said it was successful. How successful was it? The man was reelected again by the grace of God. So, successful in maybe causing headaches, distractions, and roadblocks in his first administration, and of course afterwards, but ultimately was not successful because President Trump finished out his term. He was robbed of his rightful second term, which was taken by Barack Obama by proxy through Joe Biden, the puppet president. But now he's here. He's our president now. In hindsight, he's winning all day long. So my initial reaction to that, but I'm going to roll it back a hair.
Successful political hit job using the media, using the government. It's amazing how much the public still doesn't know. But in the last few weeks, this administration has given us information that we haven't seen before. I've been following this, writing about it for years. Some of this is new stuff, and it's startling. This is the first necessary...
New stuff and startling. Now we have this. Emails from the VP of the George Soros Open Society Foundation and Julie, a Clinton campaign advisor, stating this will be a long-term affair to demonize Trump. Now, we brought this up last week when the document dropped. Of course, it's still simmering in the news cycle, so we have to pay attention to the language that's being used and how the media is presenting this. But we do now know that it was Julianne Smith who was the brainchild behind this entire action, and Hillary Clinton went ahead and took that to her people, approved it. Barack Obama executed it. So let's go to Fox News' latest on this.
The documents contain emails allegedly from the senior vice president of the George Soros Open Society Foundation. He quotes a Clinton campaign advisor saying, quote, "It will be a long-term affair and to demonize Putin and Trump," and adds that, quote, "Later, the FBI will put more oil into the fire," unquote. Other emails reveal Hillary Clinton approved the idea of tying Trump and Russia to election interference. And that was the scheme, hoping the allegations would distract people from her own email scandal. These documents provide clear evidence that Hillary Clinton's campaign was behind the Russia hoax and that the FBI knew what the Clinton team was up to, acknowledging that the info they were receiving about the Trump campaign may have come from the Clinton camp. Despite this, the Obama intel community forged ahead with their 2017 assessment, concluding that Russia aspired to help Trump win the election. The documents contain emails.
Talk about election interference, right? We couldn't even talk about election interference on YouTube. We couldn't claim that it was a stolen election. But all throughout the 2016 administration of Donald Trump, that's all we heard. Let's go to the Pulitzer Prize angle.
It's being told about.
And here's Molly.
Breaking news.
Here's Molly Hemingway from the Federalist.
Had the breaking news for over the last 2 weeks, with all of it coming out about the Russia collusion hoax and how that was completely invented, not just by Obama's spy chiefs, but it was handled by the media to increase tensions between Russia and the United States. And we've had all sorts of news breaking about how that hoax went down, how many people knew that they were lying when they falsely claimed that Russia had interfered in the election to help Trump. I mean, this is a global power that you don't want to have lies being told about. And our media were engaged in nothing but lies on that topic for years. They won Pulitzers for telling lies about the Russia collusion hoax. And now that we have all this news coming out about what really happened and that they were lies, that they were knowing lies, that people within the government were trying to stop these lies from being pushed out into the public square, now the media aren't really covering it at all, even though it's like the most massive story ever about what we're learning in the last couple of weeks.
I would just point out.
And that's because the media was complicit. That's why they're not covering it. And if they are, they're not covering it honestly, because they were carrying water for Hillary Clinton and the intelligence community to overthrow a sitting president. So, I mean, we should add to the list any of those individuals who amplified that lie. I mean, look at what Turd Tapper's doing now, right? He lied to our faces, lied to every American's face when he said that Joe Biden was sharp as a tack, and now he comes out with a book claiming, "Oh yeah, we knew," right? Well, now do the Russia hoax, Tapper. Anyway, let's hear the reaction from this.
That I have absolutely no doubt that the Obama administration politicized this, but there was a special counsel in the first term, John Durham, who ended up not bringing any charges against Obama, John Brennan, and these other people.
But how your viewers should know that there have been so many documents that have come out in the last couple of weeks from.
But Durham had those documents and didn't bring any charges.
No, he actually did not investigate as well as should have been done. And there are so many more things that have come out, particularly from John Brennan and James Clapper. New documents showing that people, and I broke some stories about this at the Federalist, showing that people within those agencies were actually screaming from the rooftops, "You can't make these false claims." And they had their jobs threatened, or they were told that there was secret intelligence that they didn't know about. I mean, this is really horrific stuff and major news, and it's why the media aren't trusted, because they're willing to lie about things like this, and then when the truth comes out, they don't cover it at all.
So this is now tied.
Yep, that's how it is. Who remembers when Hillary Clinton pushed the Russia hoax? Remember this flashback?
That
This is
a sign.
This is Hillary Clinton, September 29th of 2020. Look at her face, beaming with glee.
It is a sign of such desperation by the Republicans, and it also is a reminder that Donald Trump knows that the Russians helped him win in 2016. And that is almost the biggest reason he wants to, go back to it time and time again, because he can't come to grips with the fact that there will always be an air of illegitimacy around the 2016 campaign. And he also is always trying to change the subject, trying to somehow cast aspersions on anyone. I happen to be one of his favorite subjects for aspersion casting. But mostly it's just pathetic. It is
I mean, what's really pathetic is the fact that people actually voted for her and they believed her lies. And she divided a country. She divided families. She divided friends, pushing the lie. And she just sat there with a smug smile on her face, glowing, knowing she's lying straight to that camera on MSNBC, September 29th, 2020. And that's why she belongs behind bars, because she perpetuated the hoax over and over again. Let's go to John Solomon. Just a few hours ago, he's demanding what I'm demanding, saying if we don't see action on this Russia collusion hoax, well, listen.
The MAGA base, and I'm talking about the people that, how do we...
So, of course, he's sitting here with Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon's about to open up.
Get maniacally focused on making sure something happens here, because I'll tell you, if we don't stick the landing on this, and when I mean landing, I mean some indictments, right?
Yes.
And some perp walks.
Yep.
You're going to lose 5 to 10% of the hardest core of the MAGA base, and I'm talking about the people that canvass, that walk these districts, that knock on doors, the Scott Pressler crowd, right? You're going to lose them, and if we lose them, I don't care if we've redistricted 12 seats. We're going to have a tough time hanging on, because people, they on this one, they think it's egregious enough, and they agree with you, and they agree with the President of the United States. This is the greatest political crime in the history of the nation, sir.
Yeah, well, listen, I think it all rests with making sure that the Justice Department sticks this, that it resources it right, that it gets the right people in here. The great thing about the strike force, you don't need to have Senate-confirmed people on a strike force. Get the best prosecutors, the best agents they can find. The roadmap has already been built. Kash Patel wrote the roadmap, the grand conspiracy case. But there's lots and lots of work that has to happen very quickly. For instance, you've got to, if you're going to bring the case in Florida, like what some people have been thinking about, you got to create the research work to see, was Jack Smith looking for Russia collusion documents when he went to Mar-a-Lago? Everybody says it, including Devin Nunes and Kash Patel. But you got to find those documents and put them out there. You've got to assign a grand jury. You got to start bringing people in. You've got to do like what Jerry Dunleavy did this morning, which is, all right, Hillary Clinton's out there the last 5 days on a propaganda thing. This is Russian disinformation. I never approved any plan. She admitted to proving a plan. Go through her book. Go through her speeches. Go through the op-eds her staff wrote. They were so proud of what they did back in 2017. They bragged about it. That is impeachable material. That takes time to do. We have an 8,000-word story today, basically the signed confessions of all of the Clinton team admitting they did this, even though now they're claiming they didn't. But that's what prosecutors also have to do. We have to demand that Pam Bondi give us regular updates so that we can not just hear that a strike force has been named, but who's on it? Where's it being worked? Where are the first subpoenas? If we don't see action, it isn't just losing 5 to 10% of the MAGA base short term, which I agree with you. You might even lose more than that, Steve. But long term, if we don't punish the behavior that we now know exists out there in its most egregious form, the temptation to do this the next time Democrats are in power is going to be enormous. You are going to handicap the future of this country and destine it to be a banana republic because the Democrats got away with it this time. That's the stakes are even higher than losing the MAGA base.
And that's why we have to make sure that they don't get away with this and that indictments come down. Now we have this from the Morning Joe just a few hours ago. Morning Joe wants you to let go of the Russia hoax. Of course they do.
2016.
Need to believe Donald Trump's version of this event.
Yeah, but I agree, Mika, with what Kenny said. Like, why keep going back to it? Why keep muddying the water when you have Marco Rubio in the Senate Intel Committee, your own Secretary of State, saying Paul Manafort in the 2016 Trump campaign posed a, quote, grave counterintelligence threat to the United States of America. You have John Durham admitting that there wasn't a Clinton conspiracy, that actually the two emails at the heart of that, even though he spent the entire report trying to prove this, in the annex, he hides it in the annex. And, well, yeah, the two key emails were actually most likely products of Russian disinformation. Like, move on. Get past it. The only people talking about Russia right now are Tulsi Gabbard and others to try to distract from other things. It's not a winner for Donald Trump. It's not a winner for John Durham. It's not a winner for people in the House. I mean, look at Donald Trump. He is president in large part, whether you agreed with the charges or not. He's president in large part, and he will say it himself, because he sat at a defendant's table throughout the summer of his political campaign. This does not work politically. It always ends up blowing up politically in the face of the people who are going after the other side. That's why Tom Cotton's saying, the Hatch Act, seriously, give us some facts here. The Hatch Act?
Yeah.
That's all you got? It's just a losing political proposition.
Just need to believe Donald Trump's
losing political proposition. Man, he is carrying a lot of water for those guilty parties. Here we have some more from Stephen Miller, who's not going to let this go.
Focusing on the cost is incalculable of having the entire security apparatus of this country focusing on the hoax instead of the real national security threats facing America. Right. Lie after lie after lie that was told to the American people, preventing us from actually solving our relationship with Russia, preventing us from actually developing security and independence from all of our adversaries around the world, dealing with these big geopolitical questions. Instead, we were consumed endlessly by the same hoax, the same lie. And the charlatans that engage in this conduct are beneath contempt. They are without dignity, and they are beyond redemption. What they have done, you can't even measure the harm that it inflicted. The cost
the harm is immeasurable. And it's not over yet. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, why does this matter? It matters because it proves what millions of Americans suspected all along. The entire system was weaponized against Trump and against you. When Hillary Clinton can orchestrate a multi-year psychological operation using the FBI, CIA, and mainstream media to destroy a sitting president, we are not living in a republic anymore. We are living in a banana republic where elections are just theater and the real power operates in the shadows. John Solomon warned us, if there is no punishment for this, America is finished. The fact that journalists won Pulitzers for pushing these lies while the truth was buried tells you everything about how deep this rot really goes. So here's my question for you. Should Hillary Clinton face sedition charges for orchestrating this Russia hoax? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. And while you're fired up, check out our merch shop. It's linked down below where you can wear your truth on your sleeve. And you can trigger a liberal today at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.